Every January, we all try to start new habits. Some stick, some don't, some work, some don't. At REVO, we want to start every year off with a life-changing habit of prayer. Studies show that it takes 21 days to build a habit, so every January we start the year with 21 days of prayer. This year, the theme is the waiting room. What do you do when it feels like God is absent? What do you do when it feels like God is silent? How do you respond when you think God's not listening, God's not hearing my prayer? When it seems as if all your prayers are just hitting the ceiling and the walls of the room around you and not going anywhere. So each day we'll have some written daily devotionals that will assist you in your prayer time. Both you can get written at one of the REVO campuses or on the REVO Church app. There will also be daily podcasts talking about prayer and that day's devotion on the REVO Church YouTube page. So check out social media, the REVO app, or the REVO website for more information and find out what the 21 days of prayer in the waiting room will be like.
Hey, my name's Katie. I'm one of the hosts of the REVO podcast, and I have a question for you. What if one story, one conversation, one episode could help you grow deeper? That's what the REVO podcast is all about. Real stories, honest conversations, and practical ways to live out your faith every day. On the podcast, you'll hear encouraging testimonies of life change, see what God's doing behind the scenes at REVO, and what it looks like to follow Jesus in the craziness of life. So wherever you listen, Apple, Spotify, YouTube, I invite you to join the conversation. Subscribe to our channels, live boldly by sharing episodes with your friends, and grow deeper with us on the REVO podcast.
Stand by camera 5. Take camera 5. Hey, online audience. Every Sunday, something amazing happens here. People gather not just in a room, but across cities, across homes, and even time zones to be a part of what God is doing through REVO. There's a team of volunteers like myself working behind the scenes, making it possible for you to worship, learn, and connect wherever you are. From cameras to cables, from clicks to community, this is a church without walls. So whether you're watching right here in Winston or miles away, you are a part of the REVO family.
Hey friends and family, my name's Nathan. I'm one of the pastors here at REVO Church. Thank you so much for worshiping with us today. REVO is a church here in the Triad area, one church in 3 locations, with a vision to spark a revolution of life change through Jesus. Our 5 core values are love big, serve hard, grow deep, move forward, and live bold. You'll see those 5 core values on display on our Sunday morning worship experiences, an incredible kids ministry, a student ministry, local ministry partners here in the Triad and around the world, and small groups that meet throughout the city every night. We would love to have you worship with us at one of our 3 locations. Here in Winston-Salem, we meet at 9 and 11 a.m. in the South Fork neighborhood. In the Walkertown community, we have services every Sunday at 11 a.m. And if you're ever on the north side of town, we have a campus in Rural Hall that meets every Sunday at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for worshiping with us today as we're all a part of the online family. Grab your coffee, grab your hot chocolate, pull up a chair with family and friends, and let's jump into worship together.
sought both night and day, and I asked the Lord to help me, and He showed me the way. He made me a watchman upon the city wall. And yes, I am a Christian, and I am the least of all. So I said, go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is Lord. Go tell, go tell, go tell it, go
Oh, come, all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold Him, born the King of angels. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him, Christ the Lord. Oh, He's Christ the Lord. Oh, sing, choirs of angels, sing in exaltation. Sing, all ye citizens of heaven above. Glory to God, glory in the highest. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him. Oh, come, let us adore Him, Christ the Lord. His name shall be Lord, we greet Thee, born this happy morning. Jesus, to Thee be all glory give. Word of the Father, now in flesh appearing. Oh, come, let us adore
Hey, friends and family, I hope you had a great Christmas season and are celebrating still with family together. We're worshiping here online across all three campuses and also some of our family meeting at the North Campus today. But you're one of two people right now. You're sitting at home and maybe your Christmas decorations are already put up. You've boxed them up, and like you probably did it the day after Christmas. You're an overachiever, you're a type A person, and if that's you, then congratulations. But if you are normal, like the rest of us, you're probably sitting at home with family and friends around the den, dreading the fact that you have to box all of this stuff back up and put it into the attic. That's what I'm going to have to do with my nativity scene soon. I brought it with me. I don't know if you thought along with the series that we've been in this December, who is your favorite character out of all of the nativity scene? I mean, you got the angels and, of course, baby Jesus. He's the main character energy. There's the shepherds, Mary and Joseph. For me, my favorite characters got to be the wise men. They're a part of the story later on in Matthew chapter 2, but I don't know, there's just something about the wise men. There's this little aura, mystic sense to their part of the story. There's a lot of uncertainty about who they are and all of the details about it. I don't know, it just intrigues me. I've always appreciated the wise men. But there are some things about the wise men that we don't know. And some things about the wise men that we believe, and I hate to be a Grinch this time of year, but I'm going to share with you a few things today that you and I might believe about the three wise men that honestly, when we open up the Bible, are simply not true. Here's where it starts. We believe that there were three of them. In my nativity set, here they are, 1, 2, and 3. But did you know that the Bible actually doesn't tell us that there were three? We know that there was more than one, but the idea behind the three wise men comes from the fact that they brought three gifts with them: gold, frankincense, and myrrh. But there were three gifts, but we don't know. There could have been 2 wise men. There could have been 20 wise men on the scene that day. So if for some reason in your nativity set you have maybe lost one of your wise men, you don't have 3 of them, don't throw it away yet. We just don't know that there were actually 3 of them. Another thing that we think is that there were kings. We actually get this idea behind a Christmas song that we sing, We Three Kings. If you notice on my wise men, all 3 of them are wearing crowns. They're often portrayed as royalty or kings. But the Bible doesn't tell us that. The Bible tells us not that they were 3 kings. I know the lyrics say, We three kings of Orient are. Bearing gifts, we've traveled afar. Despite the crowns, despite the lyrics, the Bible actually says they were magi, which is where we get our English word for magician. They were studiers of the stars. But I understand why the song lyrics say, We three kings, because we, the unknown number of scientists and astrophysicists, just doesn't have the same ring to it. Like, it just doesn't roll off the tongue. We don't gather people around the piano to sing those lyrics. It just simply doesn't work. So there's a lot of things about the wise men that we don't know, and some things that we need to debunk, maybe some myths that we're believing. But regardless, in the book of Matthew, we read their story, and I think there's some important details for us, a few days after Christmas, for us to look at in these people's lives, their contribution to the story. And so I want to give you some of those. But before we get started, again, we're a few days after Christmas. The last thing that you need to remember about these wise men is these wise men were actually not at the nativity scene. The Bible tells us that it could have been between 6 and 18, maybe even 2 years, 18 months to 2 years after Jesus was born, that these wise men traveled. So if you want your nativity scene to be historically and theologically accurate next year, you need to take your wise men and move them to the mantle at the fireplace, far away from the nativity. Because when Jesus was a little baby born in the manger, the wise men were still a long way off. What is it about these men that intrigue us? Why did God include them in the greatest story ever told? I want to look at the book of Matthew this morning, Matthew chapter 2, the story of the wise men and how it plays out in the Christmas story and how it impacts us today. Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 and 2 reads like this. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem. They asked, "Where is the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we have come to worship him." Now, to get to Jesus, the Bible tells us that these wise men would have traveled close to 2 years. Now, some of you went to your in-laws' house for Christmas, and it was a 2-hour drive, and I'm telling you, when that happens, man, I turn into the Grinch before I even get out of the driveway. I do not want to be driving a long way on a trip, but if you think a 2-hour trip to grandma's house is bad, imagine a 2-year journey just to see Jesus. This is what the wise men did. They show up, the Bible tells us, to the king's house, to the palace. And it had to have been awkward because they walk in and look at King Herod and say, "We are here to see the new king." Well, the problem with that is Herod was the current king and had no idea that there was a new king in town. He had no intentions of giving up his crown. But these men show up and said, "Hey, we saw a star in the sky. We saw it, and we've come from a long way. We've come bearing gifts, and we want to see this newborn king." There are a few things that I think this story can teach us, a few details in this story of these odd characters that hopefully will resonate with you this morning. The first point is this about the wise men. God wanted them to find Jesus. God wanted these men traveling from the east to actually find Jesus. I like in the ESV, Matthew is recorded like this. Where is he? They show up, knock on Herod's door. Where is he? We are looking for Jesus. We're excited to find him. Believe it or not, Jesus was not playing some game of hide and seek. He didn't get born into a manger off in the hill so that no one would know who he was or where he was. Part of the Christmas story is God's desire for the characters to know Jesus, to find Jesus, and to see Jesus. And did you know that that applies to you and I today as well? That God has a desire for us to know Jesus, to see Jesus, to see his son for who he really is. God is not trying to hide himself from us. In this story, God put a star in the sky. And it says that the Magi, the wise men, followed the star which led directly to Jesus. Now, I don't know if you've ever prayed to God for a sign. God, give me a sign. God literally gave the 3 wise men a sign. Maybe you've prayed for a sign. Well, I don't know the last time you've walked outside and pulled your telescope out. I doubt there's a star that God has shown us and that God has unveiled. But let's be honest. There are times where we've asked God for a sign and maybe he's given us one. Maybe there's a way that God has spoken to you, has revealed himself to you for you, maybe even this season. This is the time of year where possibly you can feel an empty feeling inside, despite everything around you being busy and loud, family and friends, a packed house, but for some reason on the inside, it's dawning on you, something feels like it's missing. Something's out of place. Something's not right. For you, it might be a guilty conscience over things that you've done, things that you've said that maybe you know in the back of your mind, hey, that didn't honor God. It wasn't the right thing to do. I cut a corner. I missed the mark in so many different ways. Also, it could be a tough season that you find yourself in. I know that's weird to say that Christmas and family and the holidays can be difficult, but it's the reality for a lot of people. We can find ourselves in the middle of a difficulty, and it's a way that God gradually and slowly gets our attention. It could be hardship. It could be a difficult road that we travel, a question that goes unanswered, something that we just simply don't understand. And that's the way that God locks eyes with us. That's the way that God gives us an invitation to come closer and to hear his voice. There are signs all around us in ways that God is trying to reach out. You want to know why? because I believe that God wants us to see Jesus, not hiding himself from us, just like the wise men did. Whatever it is, I believe that in our lives today, God is still dropping breadcrumbs, leaving clues that ultimately lead towards him. And the path to God is through his son, Jesus. It was that way 2,000 years ago when Jesus was born, and the same is relevant for us today. You know what makes it even more interesting, a detail about this story is who these wise men were. Have you ever noticed that so many of the characters in the Christmas story, think about Mary and Joseph and the shepherds, they're lowly people, maybe on the social outcasts, poor, uneducated. And then all of a sudden the wise men show up. Now remember the word for magi, it's not just where we get our English word magician from. The magi were some of the wisest, most educated, connected in society, rich, wealthy people in all of the world. Don't you find it very interesting that God would choose people to be a part of his story? People that had everything, all the money, all the power, all the fame, all the fortune. And yet here they are in Matthew chapter 2 looking for something. They're still searching. People that have everything and people that have nothing. We're all looking for something. Searching for significance, for meaning, for purpose, for whatever that is that's missing from our lives. Jesus is at the center of it. And God introduces people from both ends of the spectrum of society, both ends of the spectrum of wealth and power, and draws all of them to Jesus. They were still searching for something. In verse 3 through 6, we read the next part of the story. When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. A new king is born? Come on, what's this all about? When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. Here's what they said. In Bethlehem, in Judea, they replied, for this is what the prophet has written. We get a quote here from the Old Testament. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people, Israel. Second thing that we get from this story is this, an important point from the life of the wise men. When they felt lost, the Bible helped them find their way. When the wise men didn't know where to go, they were pointed to the Bible, the scriptures, the Old Testament to show them where they were going to go. They went to the house, the palace of the king, and they were looking for the new king. And when they showed up, Herod didn't know what they were talking about. Jesus wasn't there. So they began to ask questions. Wait a minute, where is he? We're lost. We traveled all this way and we don't know where we're going. We plugged it into the GPS, but when we got there, this is not where we thought it was going to be. For a second, they took their eyes off of the star, the sign from God, and they went to the logical place that they thought made the most sense to find the new king. It wasn't until some people pointed the wise men back to the Bible, back to the scriptures, when they realized, oh yeah, back in the Old Testament, it says that one day a king will be born. And it'll be in Bethlehem, in Judah. So maybe if you're looking for a king, the word is showing us exactly where you should go. Boy, I've realized too many times in my life that when I'm feeling lost and trying to come up with the solution, trying to come up with the direction, whatever my next step is. I can try to rack my brain and do the smart thing and try to lean on my own understanding. But in all reality, the Bible teaches us this. When we don't know where to go, when we're confused, when the feeling in our hearts and lives and souls feels like we're wandering and lost, our direction comes from the Word. We can know God's plan and God's purpose by spending time with him in prayerful study of his word. Got a question? Seek the Lord. Man, want to know what your next step is? Lacking some clarity? Want to know purpose and direction in your life? What the wise men did when they didn't know where else to go, somebody reminded them that the answer was found in the word. They want to encourage you if you're battling a decision, thinking about the future, making plans for 2026, and don't want to miss what God has for you. Spend some time this season in the Word, seeking what the Lord would have for us. Everything that you need is right there, found. All we have to do is seek him. The wise men were seeking Jesus and were pointed to the Word. If you would like to be a wise woman or man today, we got to start by going to the Word, finding out who God is, who we are, and what he's done through us, for us, through his son, Jesus. This is how the story ends in verses 7 in Matthew 2. It says, after they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. They got their eyes back on the sign from God, and it led them directly to Jesus. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed, so excited that they had finally reached their destination. On coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. They opened up their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. I love that language. It says when they finally got there, they were overjoyed. You ever been on a long journey before and you're asking hundreds of times, are we there yet? Are we there yet? How much longer? Maybe you're having PTSD from your trip because your kids were screaming that from the back seat over this past week. You can imagine after a 2-year journey, showing up at the wrong house first, the wise men are overjoyed because finally we made it. Finally, we found what we were looking for. That's the last point that I think we can learn from this Christmas story from the wise men. When they found Jesus, they finally found what they were looking for. When their eyes glanced upon the Savior, they said, that's it. That's him. I didn't know it would be here. I didn't know it would look like this or feel like this or sound like this. I didn't know it would be in this setting, but we found what we were looking for. These men set out to find Jesus, a baby boy that was born in the town of Bethlehem in Judea, just like the Bible had said. But when they found him, they realized something. We have found something that is more than a baby in a diaper or a 2-year-old toddler running around playing with toys around the house and seeing an overwhelmed mom try to keep up with a running baby that's learning to talk and to interact with mom and dad, interact with the setting in the house and play and eat and cry and coo and laugh and learn so many new things. Now we found something so much more than that. What they really found was peace, joy, happiness, fulfillment, and satisfaction. All of the things that only come from Jesus. And when they locked eyes on Jesus, they realized that the trip was worth it. The journey, the sacrifice, the gifts, all of it was for the king that they had been searching for. The wise men were seeking Jesus, and God wanted them to find him. And when they found Jesus, they found exactly what they were looking for in life. So just a few reminders today, a few days after Christmas, as we look forward to a new year starting, winding down 2025, and getting excited about what God has for us in 2026, for you, for me, for our families and our friends. Remember these things. God is still speaking to us today and has a desire for us to see Jesus. Not just to see him, but to know him, to know who he is, to know that we can have a relationship with God through his son, Jesus. And I believe that wise men and women are still seeking Jesus, still want to find something to fill the void in their life, to find purpose and fulfillment, just like these wise men did. Like the wise men, we can have everything that we want and still be missing something. You may have gotten everything on your Christmas list from family and friends. It was all underneath the tree, but here we are a few days later, and maybe it's crossing your mind. There has to be more to life than this, right? There has to be more. Something is missing. The wise men realized this. Even though they were the most educated, wealthy, powerful men in all of the land, they set out on a 2-year journey because something was missing. They knew they needed something else that couldn't be found in anything that they bought or any family that they had, any kind of professional connections that they had. It could only be found in Jesus. What are you looking for? What are you looking for? And do you know that it can be found in Jesus? And that God wants you to have a relationship with him. Number 3, man, when you're looking for answers, when you're looking for direction, when you're looking for purpose in life, go no further than the Word. Start with God's Word. God wrote a letter to you to not only tell us about his son Jesus, but to help us to live this life here on earth and prepare us for an eternity where we would be with him. Start there. Go back to the Word. Lord, speak to me through your Word. Give me some direction for my life and my family this upcoming year. And let's start there and honor God in that area of our life. And finally, in the midst of all of the family and the friends, the presents and the good food, the chaos, both the good and the bad this holiday season, please don't forget, it's all about Jesus. This whole story, the long journey, the shepherds, the wise men, the angels, Mary and Joseph, all of it together, Elizabeth and Zechariah, John the Baptist, all of it was meant to point people towards Jesus. Even the wise men 2 years later were designed to help people know who Jesus is, and their lives would be impacted him as well. I want to be like the wise men, and the only proper response to you and I encountering Jesus and seeing him for the very first time is to bring a gift, to even surrender our lives over to him. Say, Lord, I trust you. I want to follow you. I want to be obedient to your commands because I know they're good. I know you have a plan and a purpose for me. And so in humility, these wise, rich, powerful, educated men bend their knee and presented sacrificial gifts. Man, I want my life in 2026 to be an act of humility where I surrender myself over to God and say, God, however you want to use me, whatever you want to do in my life, I'm ready for it. A lesson that we can learn from the wise men even today. I hope you and your family had an incredible Christmas. Those of you that are still celebrating together, man, we're excited about gathering next week, kicking off the new year, getting our hearts and minds centered around 21 days of prayer as we start in January. But before that, let's not miss the lessons from the Christmas story and the characters that each tell a different story. From our family and our crew to you, we hope you had a Merry Christmas and look forward to what God is going to do next year.